Hello, my friends. Welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about the 7600XT 16 gigabyte that's going to be launching on the 24th, and that is the same day that AMD's fluid motion frames will be incorporated into the HyperRX Adrenaline software on the 24th as well. It'll be coming out of the preview beta, so you won't have to worry about switching between drivers anymore. It will be part of the Adrenaline software, the official Adrenaline software from the 24th on. So that's awesome. Great to know. And yes, it will be available on the 7600 XT to be able to use. This will be for the 7000 series and the 6000 series GPUs. So anything rocking those, you will be able to utilize AMD's fluid motion frames on those GPUs. So when I get my hands on that 7600 XT, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a bunch of content for that. I'm going to try to, I said this in another video I just put out, but I wanted to make one specifically for AMD's fluid motion frames and the 7600 XT because this is pretty exciting. I do feel like this type of technology is going to be, is going to be important going forward when it comes to gaming, especially with technologies like ray tracing, technologies like higher fidelity visuals, all of that stuff. I do think that being able to have this type of technology or this type of a tool to be able to utilize to increase the lifespan of your GPU, because let's face it, man, these GPUs are already pretty strong. And when you look at something like the 4070 that I got, that card is an absolute monster at 1080p, and it does, pretty dang good at 1440p gaming. So I mean, like, when you look at that and you take that into perspective and you look at like the overall experience that these new GPUs can deliver, I mean, the 7600 XT is no slouch. I mean, this thing is something like 20 something teraflops of power, and you'll be able to run all of your like a lot of these games at pretty high free. I'm expecting to see pretty decent refresh rate at 1080p and at least stable gameplay at 1440p across a lot of the titles that I play. I'm actually pretty excited to check this card out. It's coming in at $329. It's going to have the 16 gigs of VRAM running on 128-bit bus. Obviously, that's questionable for 1440p gaming, but we'll see. Like we're going to test the stability of 1440p gaming, and we're going to look at this on a lot of different games. We'll run some Red Dead Redemption 2. We'll run some Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We'll run some Ghost Recon. We'll run a bunch of open world games that like really stress that are really going to stress the GPU power and everything. We'll run it with Call of Duty, of course. The newest Call of Duties. We'll run it with some Halo, some Forza Motorsport, some Forza Horizon. I'll throw in so many freaking games and test those. And in the comments section, if you've got specific games that you want tested, let me know now, because if I don't have them, then I'll try to pick them up, or I'll try to get access to those as soon as possible so that I can include those in that first batch of games. So definitely hit me up for games that you want to see in this first run. I'll do the first run at 1080p. We'll test out 1080p, and then we'll test out 1440p probably in a separate video. I'll try to do like maybe 10 to 15 games per video, 5 to 6 minutes each, and I'm just going to jump into the games wherever I'm at and play around right there. This is real testing by an actual gamer that likes to play video games. So we'll see, man, and I'll give you my thoughts and my impressions as we're testing these games one by one. I'll let you know if it's something that, like, yeah, dude, I can play this, because even on the 4070, the experience is playable. And I do want to compare this 7600 XT to that 4070. I'm really interested to see just how close this 7600 XT is going to get. I want to see how this VRAM buffer is going to work, on games like The Last of Us 2, or The Last of Us. All of these games that have been coming out will run some Remnant 2. everything I can think of, some Immortals of Avium. Obviously, you're getting freaking Forspoken. And that one there, I'm really interested in because that one there runs pretty high VRAM. Even the 4070 kind of struggles on that game. So I am definitely interested in seeing how that game is going to run on this 7600 XT. And with frame gen and FSR3. That's going to be interesting. Like, I want to see what this 7600 XT can do because I've been kind of snobby in the PC space. I'm like, oh man, I got to have my ultra graphics and all of that stuff, and I know that that's probably the wrong way to go about it, but I think that this is, this is pretty much an AMD channel. Obviously, I like AMD. I think they make some dang good products, and I've had really good, I've had a really good experience with stability across the board with the 7800 XT, 7900 XT. So I figure I'll buy like the 7600 XT 16 gigs because there's no reason to buy an 8 gigabyte card. I just don't see any real use for that because you're stuck at 1080p, and some of these newer games are going to be pushing a little bit past that, or maybe giving you like issues and stuttering. But I think that the 7600 XT is probably going to be a pretty decent buy. I did skip the 7700 XT obviously because trying to it just didn't make any sense for that card being $50 less than the 7800 XT. For $50, come up with the $50, go donate blood, whatever you got to do to get 50 extra bucks to make sure that you can acquire that more powerful GPU. That the $50 thing, that's just stupid to me. That is just stupid to me. And that's the same thing NVIDIA's trying to do with keeping the 4070 out there for $450. They're just going to try to get you to just squeeze out the extra $50 for the 4070 Super. That's the only reason they're only dropping at $50. They don't care if they sell any more of those cards. They absolutely just want to push those 4070 Supers, and that's fine. Like, I get it, and that's with AMD, I'm pretty sure the 7700 XT is a decent card, and it'd probably do pretty dang good at 1440p. And that's pretty much my idea with that card. Is it is solely a 1440p card. That 12 gigabyte VRAM buffer with the 192-bit bus, that pretty much puts that card right at a 1440p card. I mean, maybe some older games you'd be able to push into 4K if you absolutely had to, but it would definitely do really good at 1080p. Obviously, it's gonna hold its own at 1440p for the most part, but your 7800 XT is like your card that you're gonna be able to. Obviously, I'm playing some of my games at 4K on that 7800 XT, and it does just as good as I would have thought it would do. For the most part. Actually, I'm not even gonna lie to you. I didn't think it was gonna do 4K at all. But here we are, man, and it does 4K on a pretty good amount of titles, and that's still rocking ultra graphics and stuff. So I'm like, wow, that's impressive. So that's why I'm kind of looking at the 7600 XT as kind of like rounding out the bottom of this AMD channel, and bringing everybody along. I mean, I figure if I'm gonna do that, I might as well just try to bring everybody along. Help the people with that don't have as much money. Get into that and see what's going on with that card and have some positive content towards it. Because I'm already seeing a lot of negativity out there. People are like, oh man, it's just a scam. It's blah blah blah. And it's like, no, it's a product in a product stack that's not completely saturated with it looks pretty decent. Like, I get the whole, needing like that super budget card for 7600. I get that. Like, I mean, there are people that out there that just want a little bit more performance than what they already got right now on some of them older games that they're playing. Or maybe you got a teenager or 12-year-old that you're building a PC for, and you just want to get them a GPU that's going to keep them good for Roblox or something like that. You don't need a whole lot of power for Minecraft, Roblox, and all of this stuff. That 7600 is going to be more than sufficient for these parents to be able to build that PC for their kids so that they can utilize that. When you get into 7600 XT, this is my honest thoughts about it. This is more for that that college student or that that gamer that, you know, is into PC, maybe like 15, 16, got himself a freaking job at McDonald's, you know, throwing together a PC, and that's the best that they can scrape together. That's where I think this GPU kind of fits, and that sits in that market where there's just not a whole lot of there just isn't a whole lot of ability or resources for these gamers to be able to, you know, go out and get a 7700 XT or 7800 XT, or let alone even have the what's it called, some of those other cards are going to come with, you know, different, you know, power draws and stuff. So maybe their PSU is only good enough to run a 7600 XT. Maybe they don't got the money to upgrade all of that stuff. And that's the thing, you know, when I hear everybody is like, oh, just get a 4090. To get a 4090 is pretty much a whole system rebuild. Like, you're going to need a CPU and everything else to even keep up with that card. So if you're buying a 4090, you're pretty much rebuilding your whole system to try to run that card. Whereas the 7600 XT, it's got one 8-pin power. You're going to be able to plug that in. You'll be able to use a pretty, like maybe a 600 watt power supply to be able to run that whole system and be able to do a pretty decent job at that. It's one of those things where, like, the 7600 XT does have a place in the market. There's absolutely a place for it. And I'm also hearing a lot of people being like, oh man, they need to lower the price and blah, blah, blah. I don't get, like, dude, this card has 16 gigs of VRAM. The Xbox Series S is a freaking 10 gigabyte. Is it 10 or 12? Is it 12? It's like 10 gigs, like two of them. Yeah, so that's 10 gigs. Your Xbox Series X and PS5 are 16. So this card having 16 gigs of RAM on there, that's good. That's good for $329. Like, I'm not upset about the pricing of this card in any way, shape, or form. When you look at all the top end cards and the prices on those, I'm not upset about that. Like, it is pretty close in price to what a 7800 XT is. But I mean, your next best option for Nvidia is $500 for a comparable spec card. You're like $500. So yeah, I think you're getting a pretty good deal, and I'm curious to see just how well this card runs against a 4060 Ti. That's going to be interesting. That's definitely going to be an interesting. I won't obviously go out and buy a 4060 Ti to run it against, but I will, you know, kind of watch some of the other benchmarks, see what kind of other people are getting, and maybe, you know, look at, you know, the quality and the consistency that I'm getting out of the 7600 XT. But I think this will be good for the channel. I've had plenty of people, you know, come in and watch an AMD content, so I feel pretty confident in go ahead and in getting this card and picking this card up for the channel. I mean, it's like I said, it's $329, and, you know, I mean, I might as well put my money out there to test this card out, and who knows, you know, I mean, maybe it's all I need, and I'll just run the. No, I'm just joking. Obviously, you know, I think that I like this whole AMD thing, you know, 16 gigs for my 7800, 20 gigs for my 7900 XT. By the end of this generation, I might actually go out of my way and get a 7900 XTX. I might. If I could find one at a good deal, I might just pick one of those up too. But I don't know, man. See, here we are, 2024. I'm already getting into the like, yeah, man, let's just spend some money to make some money. Dude, I've wasted so much money on this channel. Well, not wasted. I've spent a lot of money on this channel, and this year was the year that I wanted to see if I could, you know, make some of that money back, some of that money that I've invested in here. Try to make some of that back, and, you know, try to grow and expand the channel without spending. Like, dude, I don't want to have to feel like I have to spend $10,000-$15,000 a year just to gain 3,000 subscribers, man. I don't want to do that. I want to be able to create different types of content. So, all right, my friends, if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.